What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and what you are seeing is video footage from last night in the House of Representatives. As, get this, that stopgap funding bill to avert a government shutdown to keep us moving along, well, I'll let you guys know, for those of you that have been following me, that the Senate passed it on Thursday. Then Friday, we saw it go on to the House of Representatives, where they immediately took care of business. And then right after that, it went on to the president to be signed into law. And today, the government is still running. And let me know your thoughts. It is absolutely astonishing to me to see how quickly Congress can move when it is going to be directly impacting them. However, promises for over 2 years of money and assistance that's meant to help out people, people have had unfulfilled promises of stimulus checks of $2,000 for over 2 years now. Social Security increases for those on fixed incomes, bump ups of $200 per month, still waiting on that. Child tax credits, where did those go? All of these unfulfilled promises, and keep in mind the fact that there's no need for additional spending technically. There is still $600 billion of leftover funds from previous stimulus packages still just sitting there. That's right, money that was already issued out through these previous packages, unused. They said, oh, we actually issued more money than we needed, and it's just sitting there. So we would not have to add to debt. All it would require is a reallocation of existing funds. $600 billion, just to clarify, is enough to send out a stimulus check of more than $2,000. We literally could send out $2,400 to every single person in the nation with a reallocation of existing funds just sitting there. And people have been waiting for over 2 years. And here you can see within the last 24 hours, take a look for yourself, you guys. By the way, this is your breaking news stimulus check update and stimulus package update. U.S. Senate passes a stopgap funding bill as a possible shutdown looms. Then take a look at this. House passes the government funding bill, averting a shutdown threat. And then it went on to President Joe Biden, who signed the spending bill that averts a government shutdown with 11 hours left to spare. So you can see they get things done here very quickly. Now, also, though, you guys, we're going to be talking about what's included in this stopgap funding bill and what's not included. And also, keep in mind the fact that this is a stopgap funding bill. This is not the actual bill. All this is doing is kicking the can down the road a couple more months to buy them more time so they can figure out exactly what they want for government funding. So this is not done yet. We still could look at a shutdown, but they're just kicking the can down the road. But they got this all done in the past 24 hours. Now, what is included? What is not included? President Joe Biden actually wanted to see more money to battle the pandemic, more stimulus funds. Also, not included, Senator Joe Manchin's side deal that he had agreed to with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer in order to pass the reconciliation bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, formerly known as the Build Back Better bill, which had stimulus provisions. And actually, progressives wanted to see monthly reoccurring checks in there originally. They wanted 10 trillion, 6 trillion. It was crazy. And Joe Manchin actually cut it down significantly to where it is concerned about inflation, and actually said he wasn't going to pass it. And then in the end, he got on board to pass it through, only with the requirement that they pass his side deal with the government funding bill, which now did not make it in. Now, I'm going to get you all the details, what was involved, what is included, what's not included here in just a second. But you guys, you can see how quickly things can get done in Congress, and you can see also how long they can string things out. Now, we will see, because as we approach these midterm elections, we're going to be seeing what all is going to be unfolding here. But for the vast majority of everything that's taking place, you can likely assume that whatever benefits members of Congress is going to get pushed through. So right now, with midterms, they want to maintain their power and their seats. So they're going to be doing things that will do so and will appease the American people at this time. And keeping government shutdown away, that's something that benefits them. And also, we will see if there's enough stimulus provisions that get passed through to keep them in power. We will see. I'll keep you up to date every step of the way, but let's dive into the details of the stopgap funding bill and what more might be coming here shortly. Now, before we do, also wanted to mention, we are currently experiencing a recession. There is an economic pullback. The stock market is tumbling. Real estate markets across the nation are experiencing some price drops. And if you want to learn more about that, to potentially capitalize on opportunities for you and your family, create financial wealth and success, consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, where I share with you some of the things that I've learned over the years to help me and my family as well. As you guys know, I'm a real estate investor, business owner, entrepreneur, YouTuber, and just trying to help provide quality information to help people if they're interested in growing wealth on that second channel, Steve Ram Finance. Also, if you want access to every single stimulus check in the nation, I'm keeping you guys up to date on states, counties, cities, not just federal level provisions. I've spent the last 3 months assembling every single stimulus check program in the nation. Literally hours and hours and hours poured into this, all into one easy to access place if you're interested. No guarantee that there's anything in your city, county, or state, but you'll have access to everything that I've tracked down in the past 3 months. If you're interested, there's websites, emails, phone numbers, everything at that website for you guys. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, do me a quick favor before we do. If you appreciate the updates, the content, smash the like button for me. It helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. I'll let you know everything going on. Any specific questions, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Please use caution here. There's scammers in the comments that take my picture, tell you to contact them on WhatsApp. You guys, I don't have a WhatsApp. I'll never ask you to wire me money or something like that, so please do not fall for that. Instagram, SteveRam3, best way to get a hold of me. But with that being said, you guys, let's dive into this article and get you caught up on the latest. So link in the description below to this article that just came out yesterday evening that says, Biden signs the spending bill that averts a government shutdown with 11 hours left to spare. And it says that President Joe Biden, he has signed an interim funding bill to tide federal agencies over until mid-December. The House passed the measure on Friday by a vote of 230 to 201, with 10 Republicans joining all Democrats in voting to keep the government open. The Senate had approved it on Thursday. As I mentioned to you in previous videos, government spending power would have ended and required a shutdown on Saturday morning. The continuing resolution maintains current levels of spending and extends funding through December 16th, giving both chambers extra time to hammer out details for a broader budget deal. So December 16th, this is going to be circling back again. This is a common sense bipartisan legislation, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said on the floor Thursday of the upper chambers as they passed the bill 72 to 25. He said, "I'm glad that we came to a timely conclusion and didn't go right up to the brink and risk a shutdown. Millions and millions of people can breathe easily knowing that we have done this in a timely way and that the money to continue the government will be there." Now, what is in this bill? Here it is. It includes $2.5 billion in aid to communities devastated by natural disasters, $1 billion in funding for low-income home heating programs, $20 million in emergencies to address the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, and the bill also includes $12 billion in aid to Ukraine. Now, the bill allows for the reauthorization of the Food and Drug Administration user fees for another 5 years as well, which Schumer called vital if we want to avoid any slowdown in the review of new life-saving drugs. Now, here is what is not included in the bill. The legislation does not include funding for vaccines, testings, and treatments for the pandemic or the monkeypox that the White House had requested. It literally requested tens of billions of additional funding to be included to help battle the pandemic, and also we had heard for other resources not included in this bill. The initial hurdle is getting the votes in the Senate to pass the stopgap bill centered on language drafted by West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin that would overhaul how the government approves permits for energy production. Schumer and Manchin had previously brokered a deal that Manchin would support the Inflation Reduction Act, Democrats' signature spending package, if he could attach his permitting legislation to the continuing resolution. So when he finally got on board, it was not necessarily just out of the goodness of his heart. They had promised him that they would do this side deal for him, but in the end, when it came out, they said they would not support it. But bipartisan opposition to Manchin's proposal ensued, with Senate Republicans bitter over Manchin joining Democrats in passing the Inflation Reduction Act after indicating that he wouldn't support such a package. A group of progressive Democrats concerned about potential environmental impacts also objected to Manchin's measure. Once Manchin agreed to remove his language from the legislation, the continuing resolution easily overcame the procedural vote on Tuesday, setting it up for the final passage. Although House Republican leaders opposed the bill, the measure still easily passed because of Democrats' simple majority. Both chambers were eager to leave Washington and return home, particularly lawmakers making final pitches to constituents ahead of the November midterm elections. So there you have it, you guys. And as I mentioned, this all centers around midterm elections. We will see what unfolds because we're hearing the number one provision that has the most approval across the board is stimulus checks, fourth federal level stimulus checks to everyone in the nation. They're saying about 80% of the population of the United States says, I don't like inflation. I don't want to see more spending. But if they issued out a fourth stimulus check of $2,000, yeah, I would take it. 80% of people said they will take the money. So let me know your thoughts, you guys. We will see if they pass that. We're hearing that the approval of Joe Biden and Democrats could skyrocket. Is it going to be a last-minute ditch effort right before people hit the polls? Now, we will see because everything that we've heard so far, it has become fulfilled. We heard there was going to be executive actions wiping out student loan debt. There would be more executive actions rolling out around midterms. We heard legislation would hit the floor for child tax credits, Social Security increases. We have seen all of these things come to pass. We will see what else comes to pass, and we will see if there is a Hail Mary effort at the last minute for stimulus checks. And we're also hearing now progressives saying that if they stay in power, that we're going to be seeing legislation and reconciliation bills coming. And guess what? Today is the beginning of the new fiscal year, which means new reconciliation measures are going to be at the disposal of majorities in Congress. We will see. I will keep you guys up to date every step of the way. But you guys, that is the latest. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far, you haven't already, don't forget, smash the like button. If you appreciate the content, hit the subscribe button to stay up to date. Any specific questions, Instagram at SteveRam3. Consider checking out the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth, personal finance, and also if you want access to every stimulus check in the nation, all in one easy to access place, www.reliefroadmap.com. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.